All right, hi everybody. Welcome back to Mama Angel's Kitchen. It is Sunday afternoon and I have got a real treat for us today. I am making collard greens and potato salad. Yep, that is our Sunday dinner. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all the ingredients that we need. It looked like it's quite a bit. It probably is, but not really. It is not a hard dinner at all. I mean, it's not going to be your 30-minute meal, but it's definitely not a hard meal. Okay, let's get started with, I'm going to show you right here. I've got about 9 or 10 red potatoes, and they're about, I'd call them small. I won't even say they're medium, they're about small. And then for that amount, I've got 4 large eggs. That's for our potato salad. Okay. And then for the greens, I'm using smoked neck bones. Okay, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. I won't be using all of these. It's a small package. I'll probably use about 2, but I'll show you that. Okay, then our veggies we're going to need for the greens and the potato salad. I've got 1 beautiful green bell pepper. And I've got a bag of, these are yellow and red. I'll open it up here. They're just peppers I've already used for other dishes. And I just save them in a baggie, put them in the refrigerator. So I've got the yellow and the red of that. And then I just happen to have a half a jalapeno that I use for another dish inside of here. I'm going to go ahead and use this. I've got 1 celery stalk, okay, that I've cut in half. This part here is going to be for the potato salad, and this part with the flowers on it is going to be for the greens. I've got a half an onion in this bag, and then I've got another small whole onion. 2 nice size, this one's about large, this was about a medium size garlic clove. All right, and then of course our star, I've got a bunch of collard greens here. I'm going to show you how I cut them off the stem, wash them, and get them ready to be cooked. I don't like buying the ones that are already in the bag. They leave too much of the stem on. And I'm not a real big fan of the stem. I'll leave some stem, but I want the greens. Okay? And I also have a small bunch of turnip greens. I like to put that in with my collard greens. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that as we go along. All right, the spices and seasonings and all that good stuff that we need. It's quite a bit, but like I said, this is one of those good old Sunday meals, y'all. All right, over here we're gonna need some regular white vinegar. I've got some soy sauce. We've got pickles, regular mayo, any kind of mayo that you like, even the Miracle Whip. I just don't have any Miracle Whip today, but I do like using Miracle Whip. And this is, of course, for the potato salad, yellow mustard. Okay, that's all of those. And then for the actual spices that we're going to be using, that is right here. I do have a little bit of sugar, and that is for the potato salad. And it is in place of not having my Miracle Whip. We've got some Maggie Pollo. I've got ground cumin, onion powder, garlic powder, all your usual suspects, guys. Basil, dry basil. Coriander, which partners so well with cumin, okay? Anytime I use cumin, I use coriander, unless I don't have coriander, because it's hard to find sometimes. But those two are close cousins, okay? Red pepper flakes, make it a little spicy. I like my spice, you know that. Some Sazon, and then some dried rosemary, all right? That is our ingredients, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get my work area together. I'm gonna start with these potatoes. I'm gonna peel these potatoes, show you how I dice them up, get them on to boil, get the eggs on to boil. because I want to get my potato salad done, and then so it can be chilled before the greens are done. All right, I'll be back when I'm ready to start these potatoes. Hi guys, I'm back. Okay, I've got the potatoes all peeled and cut up, and that's probably bigger than I want. Most of them, they're about this size, okay? That's where they all are, right here. Some of them are left a little bigger just because they're thinner, but you want them about this size. I don't want them any smaller than that, and I don't want them real too big, because I don't want a real chunky potato salad, but I don't want it mushy either. So that's it. If you find one that's too big, go ahead and cut it in half. All I'm going to do with this, and you can see about how much this is. That's not a ton. All of the recipes, for the most part, guys, that I make, they're for a serving of 2 to 4. Okay? So if you want to make more than my typical recipes, just double the recipe. Okay? But I'm typically cooking for 2. And there's another big one. All I'm going to do with this, I'm going to fill my pot up with water, and see it's not even half of the way full down in this pot. So I'm going to fill this up with water, put about a tablespoon of salt in here, and put these on the boil until they are fork tender. And then when they're done, I let them cool for 5 minutes or so, and then I will make the potato salad. All right, I'll be back, and then we'll get started on these greens. All right, guys, the first thing we're going to do with the greens is go ahead and get this meat on. All right, let's get into these neck bones, and they are smoked neck bones. And for the amount of greens I'm making, okay, we definitely want to start with this one. And all I want to do is rinse it off. Okay? No big deal on that. Just rinse it off, put it right down here in the pot. And I think I'm going to go with that big one and these 2 smaller ones here. And that's going to be plenty of meat. Okay. That's it there. And I will put these in the freezer. Put them in a baggie, and I'll put those in the freezer. I'm going to get started with the water. You want just enough water to come right up over the meat. Okay, that's it. This is going to go on the stove. I'm going to turn it on a low and get it boiling. And while that's boiling, I'm going to start cutting up the veggies to go in here. The best thing with the way I make my greens, I get the juice that the greens are going to cook in. I get that seasoned up first. Get that tasting the way that I like it, and then add the greens, because your greens are going to take on whatever flavor you've got in this pot already going. All right, let me get these on. I'm going to get the veggies over here, start chopping those up, and then I'll bring you back when we add the veggies to the meat, and we'll start seasoning up this juice. All right, I'll be right back. All right, guys, here's our veggies for the greens. I've cut the veggies up for the potato salad also, and I've got that sitting aside. The eggs are done. The potatoes are over here. They're just about done. You can see our meat is boiling away. All right, it's a plate full. I've got, these are onions. As you can see, I don't have them real small because they're going to cook down into nothing. This is our garlic. I've got those 2 garlic cloves. All this here are peppers. The green, the red, the yellow, that's our peppers. That's that little jalapeno there. I did cut it a little bit smaller. And then that's the top of the celery with all the flowers on it, okay? One quick swoop. Let me see, bring you over here. Let you see this. It's all going in. Every bit of it into the pot. Okay? Give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. As you know, it's Sunday and I'm watching the game. So I had to turn the sound off. I forgot to mute the television. It was sounding off back there. All right, this is Maggie Pollo. I'm not measuring, guys. I don't measure. I'm sorry about that. But again, here I'm going with, probably about a tablespoon of the Maggie Pollo. This is onion powder. Going in, again, a good tablespoon of all these kind of seasonings like that. Garlic powder, same amount. Just get it in there. And I'm going to go back and taste all of this, so I did the garlic already. Cumin. Now this cumin does not like to shake, okay? So I'll take the top off, put a little bit in the palm of my hands, about like that. Dump it in there. If you smell this, it has a very fruity smell to it, but it's not fruity at all. It just has that fruity floral like. And the same with coriander. It's so fresh. I just love those. All right, a little bit of Sazon. Now the Sazon, if you want a measurement on that, I probably went down to half a teaspoon to start out with the Sazon, because I go heavier on my Maggie Pollo, and those are salt-based. The Maggie Pollo and the Sazon both are salt-based. Basil. It's probably, again, another half a teaspoon on the basil. I don't go a whole lot of the basil, just like that little flavor there. Same thing with the rosemary. That's probably even like a quarter teaspoon of the rosemary. And then you want to wake up dry rosemary. If it's dry, you want to kind of rub it in your palms and get the oils moving and kind of wake it up a little bit. And then I just happen to love a couple of dashes of soy sauce. Yeah, there we go. Just a couple of dashes. And then my red pepper flakes. Again, I don't go heavy on them, but I just like a little bit in there. See that? That's not much at all, guys. That's not much at all. A fourth of a teaspoon. And again, I'll taste it. If I'm not getting the heat I'm looking for, I'll go back after it. But, not everybody in my family is a fan of the heat. I'm more a fan of that. Okay, now you got to let this cook down a little bit. And I told you earlier that when I put these neck bones on, that they were going to go on low. No, I put them on medium because I wanted them to start boiling. Now that I've got the veggies in here, I want this to start marrying up, start giving me some flavor. So now I'm going to put it, well, I had it on like medium high. Now I'm going to turn it down to a medium low. I'm working with a gas stove, so, it's got it on a level 2, and it's, I think you can see somewhat of the flame there. Maybe you can't see it too much, but it's not real high, okay? Not exactly low, but not medium either. Definitely more towards the low than the medium. All right, I'm gonna put a top on this, let this go for a little bit, and then I'm gonna drain the potatoes, let them cool, and then we'll come back and make the potato salad so that it can go in the refrigerator and start cooling off. All right, I'll be back. All right, guys, here we go. Here's the veggies for the potatoes. I've drained them. They're still hot, but they've been sitting there at least 5 minutes. And as you can see, the onions, this is just not even half, about a quarter of the small onion that you saw me with the amount of potatoes I have. This is plenty. I cut mine really small and fine, because I don't like biting into big chunks of raw onion. Same thing with my celery. And I may not even use all of this celery. It's quite a bit, but that is that one stalk minus the top, the floury top. And again, I did the same thing. They are, very finely chopped. And then the same thing with the pickle. This is one small dill pickle, and it's diced pretty small, okay? All right, I'm gonna go ahead first and dump the potatoes in. There we go. Let's go ahead and get, I know, the onions. That's good. I want all that. And let's see. Yeah, let's go with all the celery. Let's do that. And then let's go ahead and go with our pickles. I'm going to use my hands. The noise that knife was making was probably unpleasant, and it wasn't doing the job anyway. All right, there we go. That's that. All right, the next thing in, eggs. Now I just take them, slice them down. If you're not comfortable doing this in your hand, don't do it. Put them on a cutting board. But this is how my mother and my grandmother always did them, so that's how I was taught to do them. That's how I've always done them. All right, and I'm just cutting them, as you can tell, into quarters. That's all. And then pull it together, and then slice it off in there. That's it. Go with one more. And then that last one is going to go on top for garnish. All right, let's turn that rascal. Here we go. All right, in they go. All right, that is it right there. Next thing I have to do here is get our wet ingredients in there, our mayo, and let's see. And again, I don't measure. But that's, let's say I'm starting with a quarter cup, okay? And then let's go with, if that's a quarter cup, let's say, tablespoon and a half of mustard. And let's go with some salt and pepper. Here's some salt, a nice little pinch of salt, maybe 2 pinches. And we're gonna come back and taste. A nice pinch of pepper and sugar. There he is. Again, a nice pinch of sugar. That's if you're not using Miracle Whip. Okay, that sugar is in place of the Miracle Whip. Just rinsing my hands off a little bit. Let me grab a spoon and give this a mix. Okay, and I want everything well incorporated, of course, but I don't want to break up my potatoes too much. I don't mind them being broken up a little bit, because I want some of that creaminess, but I do want to be able to have, potatoes. I want to bite into a, nice chunk of potato, which is why the hotter you start mixing your potatoes, the more they will break apart and give you, more of a mushy mashed potato type of potato salad. The more you let them cool, the more chunky it's going to stay. And as you can see, it's dry. You can tell for me that's a little dry. Okay, so I want a little bit more mayo. And I can tell by the color, I want a little bit more mustard. Okay. I'm not going to put any salt and pepper in it just yet because I want to taste it first. Okay. That's it, guys. That's my grandmother and my mother's potato salad. All right, let's give it a taste. Get in there and That's good. Just a little bit more salt. And I want just a small bit more sugar. Okay. All right. That is beautiful. That's good. That's it right there to me. That is it right there, guys. All right, let me get the bowl that I'm gonna actually serve it out of. We'll put it down in there. All right, guys. Hold on real quick. I am too short to reach my bowl, so it's gonna take me a minute. Okay, guys, here we go. This is a nice Tupperware bowl with a nice tight fitting top on it. I just love this bowl. I've had it for years and years. But for things that go in the refrigerator and it stays nice and airtight. Just beautiful. All right. There we go. And go ahead and, do that. Get a spoon and clean this off. I want all my goodies. Okay. One last taste. Perfect. Perfect. All right. There we go. Actually, guys, I probably, that extra little pinch of salt, leave it off. It didn't need it. It made it, it's not salty, but it did not need that extra little pinch of salt. So leave that off. Okay. Decoration purposes. My little egg slicer. There we go. And don't necessarily want the ends. I want this. I may come back and put the ends on just because, I want something to this effect. There we go. There we go. I won't not include them. Everybody's invited. And a little bit of paprika. Make everything, nice and beautiful. My grandmother always put paprika on her potato salad. And, for me, it's not complete if I don't have the paprika on there. Is that beautiful or what, guys? Is it beautiful? All right. This is going to go in the refrigerator and chill and be ready for the greens. All right, I'm going to clean up my little mess here for a little, and then we'll come back and we will cut up these greens, and then our green juice will be ready. All right, be back. Okay, guys, let's get ready to do some collard greens, okay? I'm going to show you how I do them. All I do is you take your two fingers here, wrap it around. I just really I take it, ball it up my fist like this, and pull. Okay? You're left with just the green. So easy peasy. All right, let me show you another one. Like that. And I'm just tossing the stems in the bag over to the side here. and then I stack them. Okay, take them, pull, and I stack them. Pull, and when I get a nice little stack, I'll show you what I do. Okay, so stack, I roll them like a big old cigar or something like that. And then I just cut them into strips or ribbons like this. Okay. That's it. That's how I make my collard greens. And then I'm tossing them into my sink, which I already have plugged up. And then I'll show you how I wash them. But let me show you. I think I'm on camera pretty good. You're seeing what I'm doing there. Oh, threw that one in the sink already. It's not ready. It has to be cut. Okay, one more. Let's get another one here. You see how that one's broken? Doesn't matter. Just take it at its broken point. Well, it doesn't matter. Actually, I'll go ahead and tear that one. So if you get one that's broken, let me just tear it. There you go. Okay, one more. Just pull. Okay, and if that pulling technique doesn't work for you, because honestly, my mother and my grandmother used to do that, and it took me some time. I did not get that right away. So I would just tear mine off of the stem, or with my knife, just cut along the stem and, separate it that way. All right, guys, it's gonna take me a couple of minutes to get these done, and then I'll bring you back and show you how I wash my greens, okay? Okay, guys, here are the turnip greens, and let me show you. They're so much more tender. That whole pulling thing works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't, just because they're so tender. But if you wanna try that, don't go like this. Just pinch them, and then sometimes it'll work. Excuse me, sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. If it doesn't, and I don't mind some of that stem there, because they're so much more tender than the collards. So that's all I'm doing to them. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm not worried about stacking them so much, but I am gonna, kind of pull them together and give them a roll and cut them just like the collards. Okay. All right, I'm gonna finish getting these done, and then I'll bring you back and we'll wash them, because I don't separate anything. I wash them the same. I cook them the same. I don't put these on later because they're gonna get done before the collards. I just leave it all the same. All righty. All right, guys, we're back here at the sink, and I've got all the greens done. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of greens, especially considering how much they're going to cook down. So it really is just a serving for two, with some leftovers, or, one meal, serving for four. And that's how I do most of my meals. This is cold water. All right, and I'm just going to pour some. This is just plain old white vinegar. Pour some vinegar over it. Not that much. I don't even think that was a half a cup. Okay. Swish them around in here. And I've got a double sink. So even if you just have a single sink, then you just want to, drain your water without, letting your greens go. So what I do is I've got this strainer here. And so I go down and take out the stopper and put my strainer in. Not that the greens are going to go anywhere. They're not, because it's, it's not the garbage disposal side. But on the garbage disposal side, I definitely have to do that. So here we go. Take that out. Put the strainer in. Got my stopper out. Now I'm going to stop up the other side. Now make sure your sink is clean before you start this process, because you are washing your greens. So I washed my sink beforehand. I'm going to fill this side up now with clean water. No more vinegar. We're done with the vinegar. Now all I'm doing is rinsing. And these are some sandy greens. Let me tell you, I can feel all that sand at the bottom. So you do this as many times as you need until you don't see any sand at the bottom of, the side you're taking it out of. And you just heard my sink growl there. All right, so that's empty. And I just do back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, okay? Transfer it over. See how much sand is at the bottom of this? And then I go back and forth until I have no more sand, okay? All right, let this side fill up. Clean this side out. Put some greens there. I will discard this because it's mostly full of sand, and then I'll rinse this out, and then take the stopper and do the whole thing all over again. All right. I'll be back when they're ready, and then we will go over and taste our juice. All right, guys, here we go. Boy, this looks good. It is. Those veggies have cooked down. The meat is starting to tenderize. It's getting there. So by the time my greens are done, I want this meat falling apart. I want to be able to pull it off the bones. And so that's why I let this cook first while I'm working on the greens and doing other things. Because this has cooked probably about an hour all by itself, okay? And I'm happy about that. And then the greens themselves will go about an hour and a half before they're done. And you cook them to your desired doneness. Let's go ahead and give this a taste. I am going to crank the fire up now because I want these boiling. I want the water boiling to get ready for the greens, because the greens are going to bring down the temperature quite a bit. So let's go ahead and taste this. Look at that broth. Look how rich that broth is, guys. Let's see where there we go. See how rich that is? That's what you want. Let's give this a taste. Oh man, that's delicious. Right by itself, guys. That is delicious right there. It's not often I get it right there on the first shot, but that's good. Just like that. I am gonna give it, a little, just a shake of this. This is the Maggie Pollo, okay? I'm gonna give it a shake. Can you see that? I don't even think that's a teaspoon. And the reason I'm doing that, and then a little bit more of the garlic, and just a little bit more of the onion powder. The reason I'm doing that is because those greens are gonna take away a lot of this flavor that's already there for themselves. And so you want this to taste a little bit more than what you really want to compensate for those greens coming on board, bringing absolutely no flavor of their own, okay? They're only gonna take on the flavor that you put them in. So that's why you go over just a little bit. You want this to taste a little bit stronger than you're actually comfortable with. Just a little bit. Don't go overboard. Just a little bit stronger than what you're comfortable with. And then your greens will soak up all that flavor, and you got some amazing flavor. I'm going to rinse this spoon off. I'm going back in for another taste. Okay, again, one more good shot at that, guys. Take a slurp. Oh man, look at that. Ooh, that's rich. That's it right there. Yep, right there. It's just at a point where you're thinking, oh, that's too much. It's not. It's not. It's perfect. All right, I'm going to grab a handful of greens. I have let the greens drain in the sink. It took me a total of 3 rinses to get them completely sand-free and ready for this right here. Let me grab a handful of them. Okay. And that's all I do, guys. I grab a handful from the sink, dump it in. Okay. I think I can get another handful on there too. I think I can. Okay, I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit. I got it boiling. I wanted to boil too fast. Okay. And I think I can get all of these in one shot. Very often, guys, you will not be able to get everything in one shot. You have to put a top on it, let them wilt down, and then come back and put the rest of it in. Because these are going to cook down to almost nothing. I mean, half, I promise you. Okay? All right. Yep, that's it. That is all the greens. That one bunch of collards and that one bunch of turnip rings. That's what I'm with right here. Okay? I'm going to put a top on it. And then when it starts to wilt down a little bit, I'll come in and give everything a stir. All right? And I'll bring you back for that. All right, we'll be back. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a good look here. You can see they have cooked down quite a bit. I have not taken the top off of them since I put the lid on it. And this is taking about, a good 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and give them a good stir. You can see they are going to cook down to nothing. Let's bring all that from the bottom up. Get them mixed up in there. And then I'll bring it back when these are done. And we'll give them a taste. I'll let you know how long it actually took. Like I said, we're looking at, probably a good hour on these for them to get tender the way that I like them. You cook them until you reach your desired doneness. And I like mine pretty tender, not mushy, but pretty tender. Okay? All right. Be back when they're done. Okay, guys, these greens are done. I am turning them off. I've tasted them. They are nice and tender, just where I want them. Set that back there. Got a good shot here. Let's see if I can do that maybe a little bit better. Now, the last thing that I do after I turn the greens off, I put just about a capful of that white vinegar in here. That's it. And I mean a small, not even a real big full capful, but yeah, there we go. That's just about what I want right there. I put that little capful right in there. And then give it a little bit of a little shake there, a little stir. Not a big one, just to kind of move it all around. And then I put the cap on it. I'm gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes undisturbed. The fire is off, and that just gives that vinegar a chance to mix in there and let its flavor do what it does. You won't even know it's in there. It's just a little bit of, just a little tang. That's it. Unless you know it's in there, you won't know it's in there. But it does give a little distinctive tang that I just love in my greens. Okay? About 10 minutes, I'm going to make a plate, and we're going to come back and give this a taste. Be back. Okay, guys, welcome back. Here's the finished product. Doesn't that look fantastic? Can you see that? Oh my goodness. Give you a whole roundabout on that one. I made some cornbread right here, and this is a cheesy cornbread, and it really is just a Jiffy mix. That's it. All right, and there's our star, our greens, and our co-star, the potato salad. Oh, this is fantastic, y'all. And then I just cut up some tomatoes and cucumbers. And that is it. Tell you what, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to keep them coming. Let's go ahead and try this. I tell you, once you subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time I put out one of these amazing videos, okay? Let's go in for these greens first. And I like hot sauce on my greens. So I'm gonna taste them first without the hot sauce. And then we're gonna try the hot sauce on them. I've got this. Alabasco, I think it's called. I'm really not 100% positive what it's called. A friend of mine brings this for me. I know you can get it here in the States, but she brings it for me when she visits from Colombia. All right, I'm gonna wipe that off. Oh boy. All right, the potato salad, y'all. Look at that. Look at that. Is that good or what? This is so good, y'all. Here is that neck bone. Look at it. Look how that just falls apart. Look at that. Oh my goodness, guys. Look at that. Oh, I just want to take a bite of that. Look at that. It's tender. It is falling apart. This is my dinner. This is my dinner. This cornbread, just well, it wasn't an afterthought. I knew I was going to make it, but, you know, not a part of the video, but it is so good. Light and fluffy and airy. Got a little bit of cheese running through it. Oh man, this is so good, guys. So good. So good. I really hope you give this a try. If you do, let me know how it came out. I would love to hear from you guys and know if you tried any of my dishes and what you thought. I'd love some feedback. All right? Oh, look at this. You know what? Not even fair. Got a little piece of bone in that one. Not fair. I didn't give you a bite of greens. Look at that. Look at those greens, guys. Look at that. My word. This is so good. I can barely stop here, I'm telling you. All right, guys, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna get this uploaded. Tonight is my plan. It's Sunday evening. My plan is to get this uploaded for you tonight. All right, I love you. Stay prayed up. See you in the next video.